Welcome to Ask Miss Myrz, where we answer your most burning questions and solve your most nagging problems. I won't always know the answer, but I'll know someone who will. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we're doing our part by spreading awareness about this awareness. I'm sure you've all heard that prevention is always better than cure, and so today we will learn about what we can do about preventing breast cancer. To help us do that today, we've enlisted the expertise of top oncologist and epidemiologist Dr. Beatrice Trixie Tiangco, who is also the co-founder and CEO of Cancer Care Registry Philippines. Hi, Trixie.
Hello, Mirza. I
Hi.
hope we can, I hope we get across well or good because communication is key, as I know you know.
Right. Fingers
We'll
crossed.
try our best, right?
We'll try our
Yes.
best. Yeah. So, how are you today, despite the technological challenges of the day?
I'm doing well, thank you. And
uh,
I hope we can share a lot of new information with your listeners.
yes, please. So, what's the scenario now in terms of breast cancer in the Philippines? I just watched your I Can Serve webinar about the challenges of breast cancer in the time of COVID, and it was very, very enlightening. What's happening now in the breast cancer arena in the country?
Well, as you know, breast cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer in the entire world.
Okay.
And it's the same in our country. And for some reason in Asia, breast cancer in Filipinas seems to be highest in terms of incidence. And we're not yet sure why. Actually, what we're doing now is we are gathering baseline data in order to make sure that we know what we're dealing with. And so far, the data we have gathered is that 25 to 30% of all new cancers in the country are breast cancer. And that includes cancers in both males and females. So
Wow.
it's the most commonly diagnosed cancer, but fortunately, it's not the most common cause of cancer mortality.
Oh,
That
I see.
dubious honor belongs to lung cancer. So even
Oh,
if it's common, people do not die from it. But
oh,
we can do even better by diagnosing it early
right,
and curing it. It's only
right,
curable while it's caught early. You
right,
cannot cure cancer when it's already caught in the advanced stage.
right. So
So
early detection is really key. Is there still a particular age group where most of those afflicted fall under? Is it still the
yes,
case?
it's usually anywhere between 50 to 60 years old for all those who have random incidence of breast cancer. It's different when it's familial, when you have that gene, like the breast cancer
Right,
gene, in which
right,
case it seems to occur earlier in the lives of these women, like Angelina Jolie, who has
right,
that gene and so therefore chose to remove both her breasts. Those are
right.
incidences that early on in life.
So family history is really important to learn
It
about.
is. Yeah, yes, it is, because we do want women with family history of breast and ovarian cancer to have their annual mammographies done like
Right,
as early as 40 years old or 10 years younger than when their mother first had breast cancer.
right,
So if your mom had it at 40, have your mammograms at 30. And that's
right,
every year for the first 3 years, and then every other year until you're around 75 years old.
right. You know, in my case, I was very shocked to find out that my grandmother or my mother's mother died of breast cancer. And all along, I thought she died of a heart attack. And my mother said to me, this was maybe as early as 10 years ago. She said, "Didn't you know?" I'm like, "You didn't tell me." because it's so important, right? And good thing I was
True,
already having mammography since the age of 30.
true.
And
There's
uh,
yeah, there's still a stigma which
right,
really sometimes makes it more difficult to diagnose early. But more and more, like women like you who are who are woke, as they say, are really helping the rest of us um, remove that stigma.
right. And right now that there's COVID, it seems that many women are afraid to, well, I would be afraid, go to the hospital for their annual mammography. What can you say about this to
Yeah,
reassure everyone?
unfortunately, yes, we noticed, and understandably so, beginning March until today, there was more than 50% drop in the
Right,
number of screening mammographies.
right, right,
And I think even if you ask me, I would say maybe you can wait another year for your annual mammography, especially if you don't really have a very strong family history. And and if you don't have a past history of breast cancer, maybe it's safer to
right,
wait
right.
for another year.
Oh, really?
However, yes, but we're really not at that point yet wherein I can say to you, for example, you must have your annual mammography at 12 months because that's really just causing unneeded panic and worry.
Right, right,
And um, I think maybe uh, certain situations, including screening for mammographies, can wait.
right,
Although it is safe, I believe, like I myself go to the hospital every day.
right.
And when I do go, of course, I wear my face mask and my face shield. And when I do that, I am no longer afraid. And
Okay.
so, to me, then it's a very personal decision, but we are trying to bring the mammography machine to the community so
Right,
that it's even safer than it actually already is. If you
right,
ask me, it's safe,
right.
but even safer would be if there was a mammography truck that goes to your
Oh, yeah, a
house or
roving
your
truck.
neighborhood,
Right.
have it
Okay.
done at that time. And one this is one of the things that we are really prioritizing: community prevention through mobile trucks, mammography trucks.
Right. And what about
Yeah.
the annual, oh, not annual, the breast self-examination that we are
Mhm.
told to do once a month? What can you say about
Yeah. Well, supposing
do
when
it?
is your birthday, Mirsan? You don't have to say the year, just the month and the day.
All right. Sorry? Were you asking
When is
me?
your birthday?
Oh, June
Yes.
8th. June.
Okay. So on the 8th of every month,
Oh,
that's your
okay.
special day. And
Right.
you do it while you're taking a shower. Why?
Okay.
Because you want your breast to be soapy, right? Smooth.
Right.
And you
Right.
use your finger, the fat pads,
Right.
these fat pads of your fingers. Just allow it to go around your breast, like in a
Okay.
spiral, maybe, or up and down. Just be very conscious that you want to be able to cover every square centimeter of your breast,
Okay.
and do it, of course, for both breasts, and do it on the 8th of every month. And if
Right.
you do that, that's actually been proven to be able to secondarily prevent breast cancer. What does secondarily mean? It means that you will catch it early. And if you do the next step, which is have it seen by a breast cancer doctor or even just a general surgeon who can actually do perhaps an examination, a mammography, a biopsy, then you'll be all right.
Right. I found this infographic on the internet for an Indian hospital, and it says it shows like bumps, skin dimpling, change in skin color or texture, nipple deformation, and color change or leaks of any fluid. Are those about right, or do you want to add anything more
Yes.
that we look out for?
Well, first thing is all women have breasts that are not perfectly symmetric. Even
Right.
if you look at the mirror, one is lower than the other, right? It's
True.
not
True.
it's not the same side for all women,
Right.
but it's random. But don't expect your breasts to be perfectly shaped and perfectly the same in the left and the right. So
Right.
that one, don't panic about that. But what
Okay.
is of concern is, you know how the orange peel has tiny little holes on it?
Yes.
If you
Yes.
see that in your breast, or if you see a little dimple that you sometimes see in the side of your cheek, but you see it on your breast, and you did not see that before,
Right.
or if you see like blood on the nipple,
Right.
or an obvious mass would be certainly a sign of concern. Then these things, especially if you didn't see them before, but you see them now for the first time, then you should probably go to your doctor. So,
Right.
which doctor? A general practitioner should be able to help you, or a general surgeon. Of course, you can also go to a breast surgeon or a medical oncologist, right?
Right.
So any of these specialists should be able to tell you whether really that's nothing, that's just your imagination, or whether you should undergo mammography and biopsy.
Right. And when it comes to lumps, what does a
Mm-hmm.
lump feel like?
Mm-hmm.
And lump or just normal, what do you call
It's
them? Breast tissue?
Yes, correct.
Right.
So we can have, especially around the time of the first day of our menses, we can have lumpy breasts. That's why we want you to have mammography around 10 days to 14 days after the first day of your menstruation. The other thing that women should know is that when they are breastfeeding, they will have larger, engorged, and lumpy breasts, sometimes all the way up to the axillary or the kilikili area. Sometimes
Okay.
breast tissue reaches that part, so you'll have
Right.
something like lumps there.
Over here.
So yes, so you should not panic and observe. This is for breastfeeding women, and if it doesn't go away when you breastfeed, or maybe after several weeks of breastfeeding, that's the time when you do want to go see your doctor.
Right. Okay. Anything else? And you said it in our email interchange that a breast self exam will not prevent cancer, but it can help you detect any cancer early, right?
Yes. So I'll just use the example of COVID. Just for it's more for people are more familiar with that problem, that health
Right.
concern. If
Right.
you take your temperature 3 times a day at home, that's not going to stop you from having COVID, right? It
Right.
will
Right.
let you know if you have it, or it might make you suspect you have it. But whether or not you're going to get COVID has nothing to do with how often you take your temperature.
Right.
So that's the same thing with breast exams, um, or even if you have mammographies every month, that's not going to stop breast cancer from forming if ever that's your fate, right? Because no one truly understands yet why one woman gets breast cancer and the one next to her does not.
Right. Right.
So uh, what that's called secondary prevention. When you do self breast exam or screening mammographies, that's to not to prevent breast cancer from forming, but to detect breast cancer if that is your fate. If
Right.
it's already there, catch
Right.
it early and
Right.
be cured, because
Right.
there is a required step of having it removed.
Right.
Just catching it early is not gonna be helpful. If you catch it early, have it removed,
Right.
then you're cured.
Right.
So, yeah, sometimes fear takes over,
Right.
but we just have to keep reminding all your listeners, really, it's mas nakakatakot yung hindi mo tanggalin. or
Right.
hindi mo malaman, no, if it's
Right.
cancer or not. So
Right.
find out. And there's a lot you can do. There really is nothing to be scared of if
Right.
it is removed.
Right. And even if you do get it, I've heard a lot of survivors say it's not a death sentence, especially
Certainly
in
not.
this day
Far
and
from it.
age.
Yes.
Yes. Please tell us
Yes.
why this is so to reassure everyone that it really is not.
Because breast cancer is curable. And especially in the early age. But let me tell you about all the other patients that I have had with stage 4
Oh,
breast
wow.
cancer. Because when we were undergoing training, I trained at the University of Pittsburgh, and that was around 1992 to 1996. We were told that stage 4 breast cancer is incurable. So
Wow.
that's okay. You know why it's okay? Because it's the same way why hypertension is incurable and diabetes is incurable. People can live with it. And more, breast cancer is becoming like a chronic disease, meaning you can have it the rest of your life and you can still have a good quality of life. The problem only is it can be expensive, right? And no one wants that.
Right.
I mean, if you can get away with not having to take medicine the rest of your life,
True.
especially not chemotherapy the rest of your life,
True.
then why go through that when you can actually be cured? Even stage 3 can still be cured. Sometimes
Right.
even stage 4 can still be cured. But
Right.
you have to take a risk in the sense that you have to have yourself checked up. It's not going
Right.
to go away on its own.
Right. Right. And I
Yeah, you
know
have to
some
be
people
brave.
who actually avoid getting a checkup because they say, kung ano pang malaman ko, wag na lang. Which I think is so illogical, but like I've heard my mother say it, ayoko magpa-check, baka ako anong malaman ko. Do you find that this is still a common attitude?
True, yes. And I think it's coming from the other partner belief that breast cancer is sakit ng mayaman or any
Oh,
cancer.
right, right,
And we all know that many of us are financially challenged. And not only just the problem with paying for treatment and diagnosis and treatment, it's the quality of life and all the anxiety that you have to go through when, if you're lucky, maybe it's not cancer, right? I mean, that's how other people think. And if it's not cancer, then I can just forget about it. But the truth is, it never leaves you. Even if you're not sure, that anxiety never leaves, and it manifests itself in many other ways, in other
right,
illnesses. Um, so let's not fool ourselves. And I think the best way to face our fears, regardless of what it is we're afraid of,
right,
is to face it and
right,
not deny
right.
it.
There's no way but through. But there are ways actually to reduce our risk by making
There
lifestyle
are, yes.
changes and adopting good lifestyle habits, some of which are very challenged during the pandemic, but we can uh, go deeper into that. So, Dr.
Sure.
Tiangco has given her top 5 ways to prevent breast cancer. And number one is don't smoke.
Well, yeah, don't smoke. A lot of the realize that cancer has controllable factors and some are not controllable. Some things are beyond your control, like what you're born with. The
Right,
risk you're born with, that's beyond your control. So don't worry about it.
right,
Okay, I take it back because if you are aware of it, then you can do proactive things like having prophylactic mastectomy. But that
right,
is a difficult decision to make, and it's a very personal decision. But other things are more within your control. I understand that smoking sometimes, especially if you're addicted to it, smoking habit has been associated, not just with breast cancer, but with many other cancers. And so let's not fool ourselves. And
right, right.
so just don't even start it. Yeah.
Right. And what
Okay, the
about
other things
alcohol?
that
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yes, yes, yes. Because like when you drink, it's I know I've been there, I've done that, smoking and then taking some alcohol. It's so relaxing, right?
Right.
And what better way to end the day? But um, both alcohol and smoking are really the benefit is short and it's like instant gratification. That's what children do. But as an adult, you're responsible for your health.
Right.
Uh, don't do it. Alcohol, you can drink 1 glass of red wine every day. That's
Okay. That's good
fine.
enough.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. But don't smoke. Strictly speaking, a smoker is defined as I don't know if I should say this, but it's 10 sticks a day. But
Oh,
if you smoke like 1 stick a day, you're not by definition a smoker. So
okay.
if you have 1 glass of wine and 1 cigarette a day, if that's going to improve the quality of your life, make you happy, okay, why not? We all need to find our ways to be happy, especially during these times.
For
But
sanity
don't
lang.
correct, but don't go beyond. I wouldn't go beyond 3 sticks a day,
Right.
and I wouldn't go beyond 1 glass of red wine a day.
Okay. All right.
Pwede naman eh. You just have to educate your listeners,
Moderate.
Mirza. Oo,
Yes,
pwede
moderate.
naman. Oo.
Right. Okay. The next one is actually you said control your weight, but I don't know if you want it that strong or what is a healthy weight actually
There's
when you
a
control
body
your weight.
mass index.
Right.
There's an ideal body weight, right? And
Right.
I don't know. I think it's kilograms per your height.
Yes.
So if you're
Yes.
55 kilos divided by 1.6 meters, divided by
Right.
another 1.6
Right.
meters, and if you're anywhere from, if the result is anywhere from 20 to 24, something like that. Sorry, I don't memorize it, but it's very easy
Right.
to just Google it.
They have
Then you're
automatic BMI calculators already.
They do. And if you fall within your ideal body weight, you're okay. You don't want to
Okay.
be obese because fat intake and obesity increases your risk for breast cancer.
Uh, Maintaining a healthy diet, or there's certain things you're not supposed to eat or eat. I
Oh,
think common
yeah.
belief is that red meat is bad, processed food, sugar is bad, but I don't know what your stand on this is, if they're actually.
So I have this very nice, I'm going to advertise this.
Go.
Ta-da! Do
Wow,
you
what
see
is
this?
that?
Sorry. I don't know how to. It's called anti-cancer.
Okay. Okay, anti-cancer, a new way of
Life.
life. Okay, putol. Okay.
Sorry. And this is a little brochure.
Okay.
I love it. I know
Did
the
you write
guy.
did you write it or no?
The author is Dr. Servan Shriver, and
Okay.
I met him when I was at the University of Pittsburgh. A
Right.
very nice guy. He is a
Right.
psychiatrist, and he had a brain tumor. He had the
Okay.
worst kind of brain tumor, the one
Wow.
that only allows you to live for around 6 months to a
Oh my
year.
gosh.
You know how long he lived? 20 years.
Oh, okay.
And
Wow.
in those 20 years, he wrote this book, and
Okay.
that's how he lived so long.
And what did he
Okay.
say?
Okay, here. Lots of nice things. Uh, let's go to food. I'm sorry, I'm making you read from. Anyway,
No,
I'm
we all
gonna read
want to
this for
buy
you.
it. We all want to
Please
buy
buy
it.
it. I'll send it to you in your
Okay.
email.
Okay, I'll
Okay,
post it.
breast cancer. What's good? Uh, garlic,
Ooh, okay.
leeks,
I love
spring
leeks.
onions,
Right.
Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, broccoli.
The
Top
crucif.
Top seven. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right?
Uh-oh.
And it's a whole list. And it also tells
You
you what not,
froze.
what to avoid. You know what you avoid? Bok choy. What's that?
Sorry, you froze.
Oh, sorry. Can you see me now?
Can you hear me, Dr. Tiangco?
Yes, I can. Hold on.
There you are.
Ah, you see
Okay,
me
you're
now?
back. Yes, you're
Okay.
back. Continue, please.
Okay.
Ay, nawala. Okay, we'll wait for Dr. Tiangco to come back. In the meantime, she said that according to the book that she was showing, top foods for breast cancer include garlic, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, leeks, spring onions. Let's wait for her to come back. Hello,
I'm
you're back.
here.
Okay, we'll
I'm
keep track.
back.
Don't worry. So what else? Ganto talaga,
Sorry.
weekly. No problem. So what else can we eat? What else should we eat?
Oh, what you should avoid?
Oh, avoid.
Bok
Okay.
choy. What's that?
Oh,
Bok choy.
oh, avoid talaga?
Yeah.
Okay.
Weird. Carrots, tomatoes, chicory, romaine lettuce.
Really?
Siguro you can have it once a week or once in 2 weeks.
Right,
Just don't
right,
take it every day. And then if you
right.
have a choice, they just choose the cauliflower, cabbage, kale, broccoli.
Okay.
If you have a choice, right? Unless
Right.
you're addicted to the things that I said, in which case you'll have to make your own decisions.
But I would have thought you would have said processed food,
Oh yeah.
sugar.
Wait lang. I do have, and I really love this. Okay, anti-cancer foods shopping list. Proteins, fish and shellfish,
That's
especially
the
the
goal.
good ones, the good
Okay.
ones. Salmon, mackerel, whole anchovies, sardines, even canned sardines, organic meat and poultry, organic or omega-3, eggs,
Right.
uh, grains, multi-grain, whole grain rice, quinoa, porridge, sweet potatoes, fats, olive oil, flaxseed oil, organic butter, cod liver oil, omega-3. I take omega-3. I'll show you. Wait, got lost. But I take omega-3, 2 capsules a day.
Oh, okay. All right.
And they're not paying me
Okay.
for this. I promise your audience.
Okay.
And then vegetables, of course, I mentioned that mushrooms, shiitake, enoki, herbs and spices, turmeric, curry, mint, thyme, parsley,
So yan,
probiotics.
okay lahat.
Yeah.
So ano yung
Yes.
no-nos? Red meat?
Okay. Reduce your foods with a high glycemic index like
Oh,
sugar
yeah.
and white flour.
True.
Hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated oil, sunflower, soy, and corn oil. Conventional dairy products that's too rich in omega-6. So omega-3 is good, omega-6 you avoid.
Right.
Fried food, chips. Oh, you already know that.
Yeah.
Non-organic red meat, skins of non-organic fruits, tap water in areas of intensive farming because the presence of nitrates and pesticides might
Right.
eventually find their way into the tap water.
So lagot na yung Filipino diet na every morning tocino, every morning,
Yeah.
ano na yun? Fried pa yung rice.
Pero, hindi, bawiin mo. Mag-exercise ka araw-araw. Or, you just counter counteract all the negative effects, they're not
Right.
naman like isang pirasong red meat, yun mo,
Right.
magka-cancer ka na. Hindi naman ganon. I mean, let's not be overacting, right?
Do you
Let's
do you
just be,
go ahead?
go ahead. Let's
Do
just be
you
like you said, moderation lang lahat.
right? Do you recommend going plant-based? Because like my dad, he's a cancer survivor and he went completely like extremely vegan. What are your views about this kind of move to going completely plant-based?
What I would ask is, how happy is your father with his diet?
He was not happy,
Because,
but he survived it.
right, I think
Right,
quality of life trumps everything. And as I
right,
told you, the diet, the food you eat, is not the only one that's sometimes we don't even know, you cannot measure,
right,
right?
right,
How much of the food you eat is going to change your fate.
right,
So yeah, I always go for quality of life
right.
and non-abusive, no smoking, and no, not don't become an alcoholic,
Right.
you know. But
Ngayon pa namang COVID, parang ang alcohol intake ng lahat ay tumataas. Lalo na yung mga moms na nag-homeschool. Okay, number three, also a challenge in the time of pandemic because we're all sedentary and sitting on our asses. Be
yes,
physically active. So this one has scientific basis, right? Of course, because you recommended it. What can you say about stressing this?
uh, no, what they say is around 90 minutes 3 times a week, or 30 minutes a day 5 times a week. More or
Okay.
less, is enough to make your heart pump. You
And
know
do you
why?
mean
Because
like high intensity or is walking fine or
walking is fine. 30 minutes to an hour, 10,000 steps. If you can buy your own pedometer.
right,
Um, and that's what many of my friends do, especially if they are challenged, or if they're not very young anymore.
right,
Because that's a little bit easier to do. And you can walk outside even if there's COVID.
right,
Or you can do it early at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning.
right.
Remove your
How,
mask.
how about you? I know you're super busy. When do you squeeze in your physical activity?
You know what? That's one of the things that I needed to find to do during COVID, because all my life, especially, well, okay, I started, okay, I'm going to reveal something. I'm 58 years old.
Oh
And
my
when
God,
I was,
you don't look
when I
at
was
all.
52 years old, I started doing yoga. Before that, I was doing jogging. Um, my point is, I've done it for the past 7 years, around um 6 to 7 years, for around 3 to 4 times a week. Nung nag-COVID, fortunately, my teacher started online
Okay,
classes, sorry.
all right.
And I do it now 4 to 5 times a week, 90 minutes, sorry, 75 minutes, four to
Wow.
five times a week. And I promise you, super fun. Yeah. And it
What time do you
releases
do
all
it?
your endorphins.
Oh, what time do you
Sorry.
do it? Like 4
7
a.m.
in the morning.
Okay,
7 in the morning. I'll
right.
send you the link if you want.
So
But you should try it.
if Dr. Tiangco, who is so busy, can do it, so can you. What if people say that kahit naman hindi naman sila mataba, kailangan pa ba maging physically active or hindi naman sila
Yeah.
matakaw? Kailangan ba talaga?
Yeah. There are some super payat, pero pag kunin mo cholesterol, ang taas-taas.
Okay. So
So,
it's not a
parang,
destination.
and also kasi, the happy hormones are released, the endorphins.
Right,
So, it's worth it.
right. And this endorphins has an effect on our number five tip, but In the meantime, number 4 muna, avoid exposure to radiation and environmental pollution. Like, where might we be exposed to radiation? I hope you don't
Well,
say
if
devices.
no, is direct sunlight for yung 12 noon sunlight, yung sobrang lakas.
Ah,
What you
sumasama.
want is the early morning and the late afternoon
Right,
sunlight. And
right.
then radiation, yun yung mga kaya lang konti lang yan eh. Yung mga tawag dito sa thyroid,
Mm,
radioactive iodine. If
right, right,
your kasama sa bahay is undergoing treatment for thyroid CA,
right,
the patients are isolated for several days.
right, right.
Um, the radiation that people receive undergoing treatment for cancer really is not very dangerous for the mga wives and husbands, no, or children. So for the patient themselves or for X-ray, di ba shield naman tayo ng lead. So okay lang 'yon. Yung
Right.
environmental pollution, yun yung mga benzene sa gasolina or yung mga pesticides sa plants
Right.
or yung just the carbon, the smoke from the too many jeepneys, which is, by the way, another thing that we like about COVID, less traffic.
Right.
So yeah, kaya nga me, I think after COVID I'll still wear mask. Parang I'm
Oo
gonna do
nga,
that.
tama. Oo. Anyways,
Mm-mm.
I'm sure ngayon ang dami na nating collection ng mga masks.
Yeah, pero we don't want nga, that's the problem is if it like nangongolekta na sa Manila Bay yung mask natin.
Ay,
So
nako.
maybe they should form environmentally friendly masks
Right, right.
somehow.
So number 5, it seems like common sense, and people might argue that, well, we all have it, but how detrimental really is stress to our cancer risk?
And that's included in the book of Dr. Servan Shriver.
Right.
And I don't recall honestly what scientific studies he has given because it's how do you measure stress?
Right, right,
That's kind of hard.
right,
And what they have proven is if people who meditate and have time out so that they can relax and de-stress themselves,
right,
are happier, have
right,
better quality of life, and the incidence of cancer or the risk of cancer goes down.
right,
So these are the things that again in his tiny booklet that he has, what inhibits or activates the immune system. The Mediterranean diet, he says, Indian and Asian cuisine, serenity and joy, support from family and friends,
right,
acceptance of yourself, your values, and your past history, and
right,
regular physical activities.
right. And in your experience as a doctor for breast cancer patients, do you have some stories or anecdotes, or do you remember any stress related maybe incidences or cases, and then maybe if the patient did things to alleviate her stress or change her relationships or even like remove toxic presence in her life? Maybe you can tell us
Right.
all about it.
Yeah, in fact, that's one of his recommendations is parang face your past traumas. Parang ganon.
Right.
And I do remember certain patients, pagpasok pa lang sa room, alam mo na yung stress level nila. In
Talaga?
fact, totoo. And I
Talaga?
can
How do
think
you tell?
of a couple of patients na wala pa kaming pinag-uusapan. Alam ko na yung recommendation ko is see a psychiatrist.
Wow.
Um, kasi, and that patient really, really thanked me, ah.
Right. How could you
Parang
tell?
the pitch of the voice, the speed with which she talked, the
How about the
the the
physical
the
aura?
tension in her body,
Wow.
and the way she would talk but not listen.
Okay.
Um, so, and because I am a psychology major, I
Okay.
think that helped.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And alam mo na eh, nasa pitch pa lang ng voice, I think that's very telling.
Right. And
Nakakaawa eh.
oh, what sort of stress was your patient experiencing? Was it work stress, relationship
Yes,
stress,
both,
both?
both.
Both.
Yes,
So it's like a very deadly combination. Talaga.
true, true.
And then what did you recommend besides seeing a psychiatrist? Or usually
Well,
do you tell them?
um, I think it helps that uh, you yourself are calm,
Mhm.
you yourself are reassuring, you
Right,
yourself are saying you have cancer, but you're not going to die from it, not anytime soon,
right, right,
and that it's possible to live well with cancer,
right,
and that it's not a death sentence. And some
right.
people even have better lives
After.
after they're diagnosed with cancer,
Right,
and
right,
that's something I'm witness to.
right.
The same way that our lives are better, some of us because of COVID, right? Who would have
Yes,
thought?
yes. Because we're forced to
But yeah,
we're
so
forced to confront our reality and our lives. I've heard of families coming together to support a cancer patient, and usually the dynamic in the family changes, or they're able
true.
to remove whatever dysfunction was around. So, what happened to this patient whom you detected?
Well, honestly, it's not breast cancer. It's a blood cancer.
All right.
It's the blood cancer that's incurable. So she's
Okay.
still alive, and
All right.
but it never left.
Right.
But she learned to meditate. She learned to calm down. She's much happier now.
Right.
And I just reminded her that that's your new normal,
Right.
meaning your blood count will never be like mine
Right.
because I don't have a blood disorder, a blood cancer, but you do. That's something you have to learn to accept, and you have to realize that you're still alive. You can live a long life, even if your blood count is not quote unquote normal, because it's normal for you,
Right.
and that's all that matters, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's also a change in mindset.
Right. Do you have any favorite recovery stories of breast cancer that you can tell us in order to inspire our viewers? And we are frozen again.
I'm still here.
Oh, you're still here. Okay, keep talking even if you're frozen. Do you have any
Okay.
favorite recovery stories to inspire people who are so afraid of it?
Ah, I had a young, well, then we were young because we were the same age, and I think I was around 40 years old,
All right.
a young lawyer, and she was referred to me by our common friend, a surgeon, and she had a large lump under her axilla, breast cancer. So stage 3. And then so we had chemotherapy, and we were hoping she was cured kasi nga tinanggal na, nag-chemo na. But after a year, it came back to her bones. And so stage
Right.
4. And at that time, because I'm always very upfront with my patients, I told her stage 4, that's with you the rest of your life. I was a young practitioner then. And she had uh, she was fortunate that she could go abroad. So she joined this new study for the new treatment for breast cancer. At that time, it was the anti-HER2 trastuzumab treatment, Herceptin. And she had treatment there. It was still experimental, but she came home. She's still alive today with stage 4. So, and that was like, what, 20 years ago?
Right.
So, I've had that experience of telling people you have stage 4, the rest of your life you're going to have it, and the length of your life might be shorter than others.
Right.
But I've also been lucky enough to witness that some people have normal lives, even if with stage 4 cancer, breast cancer, or other cancers, but breast, yes.
Right.
More and more, we are seeing that. And so that's something that people should know, the patients with breast cancer should know that really there is less reason to be afraid. And being afraid in itself
Causes
might be
stress.
doing you more harm than good.
Right.
So um, it's important to take control of your fear and your lifestyle and do what you can to boost your immune system. By nature, our immune system is our best friend. And if you're lucky and you're in love, people love you, you have family, you have friends, another magic ingredient. So
Right.
if you have that, and if you're spiritual, doesn't have to be Catholic, can be any religion, but you meditate and you realize that there's something or someone beyond you that is good and is
Right.
taking care of you,
Right.
then those are the magic ingredients I find
Right.
very helpful.
Right. And I think those are the magic ingredients, not just for the prevention of breast cancer, but also to live a happy and healthy life. Do you have any message for people about the prevention of breast cancer in general? What kind of mindset does it take to strengthen your immune system in general and try to avoid
I
getting
do.
diseases? Yes, go ahead,
I
please.
prevent it.
Yes, okay.
Sorry, can you still hear
Yes, please,
me?
please rewind.
Sorry.
Okay,
It's
go ahead.
about. Uh, do you remember? Or of course you do. We're still in it. How we all learned how to
Right,
prevent COVID, right? Okay. Wear your mask. Stay at home. If you have to leave, wear your mask and wear your face shield. Wash your hands frequently. Not very difficult,
right,
right? But very effective.
right,
So understand cancer. Understand what you can do to prevent it. And what are they? Lead a healthy lifestyle. Exercise regularly. Have a healthy diet. That's all you can do. Everything else, if cancer still happens, the other thing you can do is catch it early.
right,
And don't panic.
right,
Don't live your life as if it's going to happen to you, because chances are it's not.
right.
So, and yet, even if it won't, it's still your duty to find out, right?
Yes,
So, screen yourself, screen for breast, screen for colon, screen for prostate, screen for lung cancer if you're a smoker. And then, best of all, just do what you have to do to prevent it, because you owe it to yourself and it's preventable.
right, right. Very,
Easy lang, di ba?
yeah, very practical, scientific,
Yeah.
empowering, and positive. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Dr. Trixie Tiangco. Where can people find you or
Oh,
contact you?
yeah. I work at the medical city.
Right.
And so that's where they can email us at the Cancer Institute at themedicalcity.com.
All right. Thank you again, Dr.
Thanks,
Tiangco.
Mirza.
Thank
Sorry
you
for all
so
the
much.
stress.
No problem. It happens all lately. It happens more and more, but we'll keep trying.
All
Thank you
right.
for
Thank
your
you. It was nice to meet you.
advice. Nice to meet you too. Hope to meet you in person very soon. All
Yeah. All
right. Bye.
right. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone. This has been Ask Miss Myrz, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you and goodbye.